Now do you see why this is one of my favorite spots? Look at that. Look at that. Good morning. Oh, man. Stayed up way too late gaming. Way too late. But time well spent with my son. And now this is time well spent with you. Alright, let's get into shaky heads. First, what we need to talk about is the different types of shaky heads. And you know what? I think I'll let someone else take care of this. Let's see. You got this? Sure, why not? Not like I have anything else better to be doing. But let's get into it, shall we? Alright, shaky heads. They come in all sorts of different sizes and weights and hook types. You name it, they make it. And by they, the manufacturers, and there's dozens and dozens and multitudes of different manufacturers, private manufacturers, you name it. You know, your neighbor next door might be making these things. I know some guys, they have casting material and they'll cast their own shaky heads just because they have a particular weight and setup that they use. More power to them. I don't want to take that kind of time. I want to go to the store and buy one, such as these. Now, the different types, they all have their purposes, their primary mission, if you want to call it that. But that's what we're going with. Football jigs, or football shaky heads. It's pretty much a football jig without a skirt and a little corkscrew on it. Well, these are really good around rocks, standing timber, so on and so forth. These, with a more pointed head, more angular weight here, they're really good about coming through vegetation. I commonly use these because I do fish around a lot of vegetation. This is the more common type of shaky head. Flat bottomed, pretty standard. When it comes to shaky heads, this is pretty much what you're going to see. You're going to see a lot of those. However, it doesn't have to say shaky head to use it as a shaky head. All right, for instance, something like this. I'm not really sure what it's called. I believe it is made by, you know what? I'll put what it is down here. I forgot. Z-Man. Z-Man makes these. But I'll put what it is down here. Right there somewhere. Anyways. These are great. I really like these. These are very nearly weedless. They rarely get hung up. Not a sponsor by no means. But thin wire hooks. And they're great. It's almost like a cross between a shaky head and a Ned rig. And it works really well with the same kind of techniques that you would use for a shaky head. So, that aside, not a shaky head, but it can be used with the same type of technique. Alright, back to the idiot. Boy, he seemed a little kind of pissed. Oh well. Well, like you said, there's all sorts of different types of shaky heads, and the spectrum just goes on and on and on. And really, you need to use the type of shaky head that fits the environment that you're fishing. You know, I fish a lot of rocks, grass, structure. So I'm going to use things that are going to come through that, and things that have proven to do well in those environments. Those are the type of shaky heads that I use. All right, now that we're in our spot, I got an idea. Let's get that gut and show you how to rig up a shaky head. Hey! You hear me? Do you mind showing them how to do a shaky head? Really? Don't you think I have other things to be doing? Ugh. All right, fine. Let's get this over with. All right. Very simple. We're going to take your common shaky head. And what I like to do first is I'll take the point and I'll make a couple of little stabs into where I'm going to thread that corkscrew into. I'll make a couple of little stabs in there just to give that cork head something to bite into. Very simple. All right. And you simply just put it on there, apply a little pressure, and start to turn. Come on, you can do it. There she goes. Just feed it on there. There we go. You want it nice and tight against the base of the bait or the hook thing. You get it. All right. Nice and tight on there. Now, the hook, depending on the type, some shaky heads use a EWG type style hook. This happens to have a worm style hook. Most do, because you're going to be using some sort of stick bait. I really like these kind of baits. As it sinks, this tail gives a lot of action. Great presentation for moderately clear water to lightly stained water. Anyways, the tip of that hook is actually, when you go in, it's going to come in at an angle and not straight through. So what I like to do is I'll take my soft plastic loosely in my hand and grab where the bend of that hook is. And that tells me where the tip of that hook is going to go in. So between my forefinger and my thumb, I will pull it through. And you're looking to get it as straight as possible. There we go. Not the straightest, but it'll work for the purposes. You want to get it as straight as you can. Now, you don't want to push the hook all the way through. You just want the very tip of the hook. So when you run your finger across that bait, you should just be feeling just the very tip of that hook. So when that fish grabs it, it exposes the tip of that hook, and you can set it. And that's pretty much it. Yeah. Great. All right. Back to that guy. He's an idiot. Give him some time. I'm going to go do something else useful. He seems a bit ornery this morning, doesn't he? All right. Enough goofing around. It's real simple. Now, you don't have to, if you're just beginning, I wouldn't recommend throwing a shaky head, or at least a very light shaky head on a casting reel. Use an open face reel, but you know, you make the choice. You decide. This is just what I'm going to be throwing it on today. This is a 6. I think it's a 6.5, 6-speed reel. And this is I do recommend using a medium action rod to throw a shaky head. And I would go with no shorter than 610. Medium action 610. Medium fast action 610. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. And the technique is really simple, and what you're trying to do is mimic a type of bait. So the type of soft plastic, and when it comes to soft plastics, when it comes to shaky heads, you can put just about anything on a shaky head. So keep in mind the type of soft plastic that you put on there and the action that you want out of it. And that's what you're going to try to mimic, that type of soft plastic. So if it looks like a bait fish, you want it to look like a bait fish feeding on the bottom. That sort of thing. All right. So let's just talk about different presentation techniques. And it's really quite simple. Again, I'm trying to mimic something that a fish would eat. Giving it some action. I'm already giving it a really nice presentation. Something, colors that I know work in this kind of water during this type of year. And that keeps coming. Hey, wait a minute. Whoa, whoa, whoa. That guy can wait. Hey, if you're new to the channel, I am that guy with the fish. My name's Derek. And I do these videos more of a hobby than anything. I mean, I don't have enough subscribers to really do much of anything, and I keep doing that. I've been doing this for a year now, and I've shown some growth. Small, but some growth. And that's fine. I like doing this. I like sharing. I've got some responses from people that they appreciate what I've done. You know what? It's more than enough for me. I appreciate it. But if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. I have gotten better at this whole YouTube thing. It's something I've come to enjoy. So if this channel, you think it might be something you might enjoy, subscribe. What's it gonna hurt? I might actually do something you're interested in. You don't have to watch the videos, but I'm here if you need me. All right, back to the other guy. He's talking about something interesting, I guess. So you got your cast and let it sink all the way to the bottom. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop about 15, 30 degrees. I'm going to get some pops. Just some light little pops to give, because when that bait hits, it's going to kind of flop around. And so I'm going to give it a couple of pops, kind of work my way up, reel down, and I'm just kind of giving it some action. And I'm slowly bringing it to me. So as it falls, and I'm bringing it up, and it's just kind of hopping on the bottom. Just giving it a couple of pops. And then there's, hang on. I got some grass on there. There we go. All right. Then there's the bring it up, let it fall. You want to reel as you do that. Bring it up, let it fall, reel down. And you want to go about 45 and bring it up. Let it. And what it's doing is it's coming up and coasting down. And that whole time, that bait's kind of sitting there wobbling around as it's going down. And it's just real slow. Now you can do this super slow. I'm talking, you can spend as much as a couple of minutes retrieving it, to working it real fast, to pop, 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 giving it some real erratic action. Experiment. Do a combination. Punch pops, slow, pop, 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 slow, pop, pop, slow. Experiment. Find out what works for you. You know, because, you know, whatever your physical abilities are might depend on how quickly you can fish it, or the kind of boat you're in, or the environment you're in, or experiment. Figure it out for yourself. Earn the experience. Did I forget anything else? Probably. Probably. What we're going to do is just, I'm already getting bet. Oh, nope, he let it go. So what I'm going to do is, because I'm fishing in current, I think I might have a fish. Yep. Ooh, he's a fighter. Easy there, buddy. Oh. Oh, easy, 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 easy. Shaky heads. So you're trying to mimic the type of bait. This was just a Senko. You're trying to mimic a type of bait and bringing it up and down the bottom. And that's all you're trying to do. Let's get this guy released. That required a little bit of surgery, but a good, pretty fish. Let's get him back in the water. Ooh, he's ready to go. And off he goes. All right. Good start to the morning. Like I was saying, shaky head is a really, really good one to learn how to master. And keep in mind the type of bait that you're using. You want to bounce it off rocks, give it some action, and keep in mind of the fishery that you're working with and the colors, the water clarity. And again, keep in mind the type of baits that you're using and the water clarity, because if it's too heavily stained or muddy or something, this is a highly visual kind of presentation. So you normally don't want to use this in super muddy water because they're not going to see it. Now, that's not to say that you can't use this in super muddy water or super stained or low visibility water, because I have caught fish on high vis presentations, but I knew that there's normally fish in that area in heavy muddy water, and I just lucked out and nailed one. So, but normally this is a high visibility. You want the water clarity to be pretty clear, but that's not to say it doesn't work. You know, in muddy water, use darker colors. Use like a solid black. Have something with a lot of flair to it. Maybe, they make these shaky heads. They got little rattles in them. I had one once. I have no idea what happened to it. Probably lost it. Anyways, the shaky head. Did I forget anything? I'm sure I did. I didn't even turn that key. I remember the hook set. Let's talk about the hook set. Man, I'm struggling. I've only had like maybe 3.5, 4 hours of sleep. It's worth it though. It's worth it. It's worth spending time with you. Oh. Let's talk about the hook set. The hook set, it is a straight up action. So let me cast out there. So you feel the bite, you see your line take off. And if you remember how I set the hook, because I am fishing in current, and it was coming off to my right. The hook set is straight back. And now I'm in a kayak and I'm using a thin wire hook, and that's really important when it comes to kayak fishing, is having that thin wire hook, is because when you're sitting, you lose half your momentum. You can't make, when you're on a bass boat or on the bank, you can't make that step back, can't make that hard set. So when you're sitting in your kayak, you lose a lot of that power. So when you set, you want that come home to daddy set. You want that. You want to bring it home. You like that? Come home to daddy set? I did explain that at the time that this was filmed that I hadn't had much sleep, right? Well, long story short, I was gaming late with my son. We were running dungeons on Destiny 2, and yeah, at this point I hadn't had much sleep, and well, I forgot to do the outro. So here it is. I'm that guy with a fish. I hope you learned something. I hope in some way this helped clarify how to use a shaky rig. I'm still not quite awoke yet, if that makes any sense, and it's a week later. I hope this video helped. I hope you learned something. If you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe, leave a like, comment. The channel is growing. For those of you who have subscribed, thank you so much. I'm that guy with the fish. Where are you at? I'm at home. Trying to put all this together for you guys. I love you. You see nothing?